Thanks to the Urban Group, who worked on all the early illegal eminent domain stages with the City of Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. February 10, 2006, we received an interested seller acknowledgement form from the City of Pompano Beach. The letter states that the city is interested in purchasing our 2 parcels of land, and that if it's something that we might be interested in, to sign and return the form. If you send the form, the following steps will occur. Number 1, within 2 weeks or less after we receive your signed will or selling acknowledgement form, the Urban Group, who is working with the Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency to facilitate this process, will contact you to review and discuss with you the appraised value of your property. The appraised value of your property will be used as a baseline for further discussions with you. Number 2, during this meeting, you will be presented with an offer to purchase your property based on the fair market value. And number 3, we will continue negotiations until we reach an agreement to proceed to not proceed on the purchase of your property. Let's go back to number 2 for a moment. Fair market value, a term used frequently in eminent domain. Fair market value is the price of a willing and unpressured seller and the price an unpressured buyer would agree on without any coercion to purchase the property in the real estate market. No pressure. Just so you understand this, fair market value does not exist to the condemning authority, the CRA, as there is extreme pressure to sell and market value is never discussed. We were planning on staying in the building forever, as it took us 16 years to save the money to purchase the building and renovate it in the first place. We spent $2.5 million on the building with its improvements and another $1.5 million on the business occupying the building. Let me say it again. We spent 16 years planning the World of Jimmy Star Grand Castle Showrooms and Entertainment Complex. We never received a response from the City of Pompano Beach or the Urban Group to have a sit-down meeting to further discuss the sale, although their letter clearly states that this is the process used in the procedure. I hired a lawyer to represent us in the negotiations. His name is Peter Rose, who tried relentlessly to get the city to respond to the letter they sent us to no avail. We have a $5,600 legal bill from Peter Rose that shows his diligence to resolve the problem, of which we never received any return phone calls or letters. No good faith negotiation as required by law. On February 10th, we also received a pre-suit notification from the city offering us $847,140, and Peter Rose contacted the city and the Urban Group to find out if they were going to also take the back parcel, of which we received another pre-suit notification for the back parcel on March 7th, 2006, 3 weeks later, in the amount of $143,880, for a total of $991,000. According to the law, let me reiterate, there is 30 days to negotiate and settle from receipt of the pre-suit notification. Like I said, we sent back the seller acknowledgement form and spent $5,600 trying to get the city to talk to us about the negotiation to no avail, as they never responded to any of our letters or calls. Never having spoken to anyone from the city or its representatives, we had no idea that the city filed suit against us on March 24th, 2006, 17 days after we received the pre-suit notification. We found out that they were suing us on May 8th, 2006. It's another illegal clincher. The city sued us 17 days after we received notification. And by law, let me say that again, by law, we have 30 days to respond, which we did, and they ignored us and stuck us with a $5,600 bill. This is the City of Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. This is the City of Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency Interested Seller Acknowledgement Form that we received. And the highlighted section of this form, it tells you the steps that will occur if you sign this form and turn it back into them. And this is the signed and dated seller acknowledgement form, 7th day of March 2006. interested seller acknowledgement, Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, that was sent in by our attorney Peter Rose on March 7th, 2006. This is the legal bill we received from Peter Rose from Rose & Rose, PA, for his attempts to negotiate with the Urban Group in settling an eminent domain dispute with the City of Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Association. As you can see, it says Gail Erickson's statement for services rendered for the City of Pompano Beach eminent domain. The total is $5,613.86, which I wrote bigger here for you to see, and this is all for negotiating with the Urban Group, of which they never ever responded to anything that we sent them, which was not what they said they would be doing in the letters that they sent. Notification sent to us by the Urban Group representing the City of Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Association to buy our 4 parcels of property. 2 parcels, they were going to pay us $847,140 for, and the other 2 parcels, they were going to pay us $143,880 for, which came to a total of $991,000, $123,020 more than what they say the appraised value was. One of the letters was received on February 10th, 2006 by certified mail. The other letter, even though it said it was mailed by certified mail, was not received until March 7, 2006, after our attorney Peter Rose requested it several times as part of his $5,600 eminent domain trying to settle bill. See, the pre-suit notifications are on the Urban Group stationery. Letter sent to us by our attorney Peter Rose, sending us a copy of the pre-suit notification that they said that they mailed to us on February 10th, but we received on March 7th. As you can see, he got it right back out to us on the same date, March 7th, that he received it. And also says that he is enclosing a copy of the interested seller acknowledgement form. Add insult to injury, the judge who approved the filing was Miette K. Bernstein, a circuit court judge who is the mother of Mitchell Bernstein, who is the lawyer from White's, Sirota, Healthman, Pastoriza, Cole, and Bonseek that is representing the city in the eminent domain process. And the fact that the Pompano Beach Community Redevelopment Agency does not have the authority to eminent domain in the first place, I question whether the lawyer for the petitioner, Mitchell Bernstein, was in collusion with his mother to steal from the public in legal proceedings. And both of them are getting paid to do it. I need to jump around a little bit here. Please follow carefully. We hired an eminent domain attorney named Paul Golis, who told us there was no way to fight the city. We believed him. Since the city did not respond to any of our first lawyer's calls or letters, the city illegally moved forward and scheduled an order of taking hearing. The purpose of an order of taking hearing is that the government must demonstrate that it engaged in good faith negotiations to purchase the property, but that no agreement was reached. There is no physical way that the government could do this, since they did not respond to any of our letters or calls, and they held the order of taking hearing where our new attorney, Paul Golis, was not present, neither were we, and someone not on our side physically wrote the words agreed order on the order of taking. So it looked like we agreed to the order, although we were not there and not even represented. They fraudulently wrote on the paper, and it was upheld, even though we were not even at the hearing, nor were our counsel. Let me go ahead a little bit, as a few months later we found out our attorney Paul Golis was disbarred for criminal activity. And I think he may have been in collusion with the city the whole time, trying to get us to go along with the rape and shut up. He specifically told us, do not go to the press, tell everything to the jury, knowing that we would never be able to get there. I have to go ahead for the time right after our attorney was disbarred to stay on point. Mitch Bernstein called a case management hearing with Judge Andrews, who was the new judge assigned to our case, as after Mitch's mom recused herself for what I think was a conflict of interest, although all the damage had already been done. Since we no longer had an attorney, we had to go to this hearing. In the judge's chambers, in front of the court reporter and the judge's secretary and us, Mitch Bernstein said that he had never heard of our first attorney, Peter Rose, nor had he ever heard of the Urban Group. He said he had never heard of the Urban Group. Now, we all know he's lying his ass off here, but let's go with what he said. If he really did not know who they were, then he is admitting that the government never tried to negotiate the purchase price for fair value, which is the prerequisite for filing a court action to exercise the power of eminent domain. So, the CRA and its representatives broke the first step in the eminent domain process as it is set up in the state of Florida.